You're watching UMAMI.
Hello, hello. What's going on, everyone? Okay, so today I'm gonna be working on some stuff for safe mode. I have a particular shot in mind that I need to draw, and I'm not too concerned about it looking like correct or anything. It's gonna be kind of, it can be kind of wacky looking, so I thought maybe it'd be fun to animate on live stream. So hey, thanks all for all the comments there, everyone. Okay, so let's see. I have to draw. There's like this character in safe mode. It's like a flower pot that you might have seen from episode 1. So I'm going to draw it hopping, basically. So I think what I'm going to just do is start with just the flower pot, kind of like a rough sketch, or maybe I'll just draw one frame of the flower pot. Just you know what? Actually, I have to check something too, because forget how it looks. So let me just go through the files here. Well, that's the flower right there. Oh, there it is. It's got a square box, so I'm already doing it wrong. Can you turn the music down and your voice up a bit? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Testing. Hopefully, let's see. Is that better? Yeah, I think my mic was just too quiet, I think. So, anyways, so I got the new vinyls. The part of the new vinyls that I ordered, the Volume 2 blue variation vinyls have arrived, and I listened to them and they're perfect, except there's one problem with them, is they didn't print the posters that were supposed to go with the vinyls. So I was all hyped up this weekend to ship them out, and then I realized they didn't include the posters, even though they charged me for them. So I have to, basically they're working on that now, and hopefully they can get them to me this week. I mean, that's what I'm really, these vinyls have been like delayed, you know, and then they finally show up and they made them with a piece of them missing. So hopefully it's not a big deal. It's not like there's a problem with the actual record, but it's just the posters, which shouldn't really be a difficult thing for them to do. but it kind of sucks because I was expecting them to go out like this weekend, and now it might be a couple more days. We'll find out more about that later, I guess. This music that's playing right now is all from the new EP, so you can listen to that on. You can download it for free on Bandcamp, or you can listen to it on Spotify or whatever. If you have Spotify, please like follow me and stuff, or listen to it on Spotify. You know, because it helps significantly with like the algorithm and stuff on the Spotify. Trying to get my music kind of more out there, so that it kind of like has an audience of its own, you know, rather than just being fans of my web animations, which I love that too. But like, you know, it'd be nice to have the music kind of pulling its own weight. You know what I mean? I've been putting a lot of effort into music recently. It's really the reason why I started my channel, was because I wanted to figure out a way to get people to listen to my music, and so I started animating videos with the music in the background. So I didn't really like. That's weird because I didn't like start animating because I mean I like animating, but it wasn't like. I didn't get into animation because I like making animations. I got into animation because I like making music. And animation seems to be something that pairs very well with music. So. Okay, so my box is done, but you know, I feel like it's kind of skewed. Might just distort it a bit. That's better. Some frames are gonna be wacky, but I want like some of the keyframes to be like at least in right perspective, so that it's not just when you watch the final animation, it's not like completely confusing. Do you like rap music like FM Doom, MF Doom, or something? I don't really like. I'm not like a huge fan of rap music, but I do listen to some rap music. But I honestly haven't. It's not a lot. I mean, I got like this playlist on Spotify I listen to, and it's just like 90s gangster rap. And then I have like I don't know if you ever heard this band Swollen Members, whatever. They're a Canadian rap group, and I thought they were pretty cool. But otherwise, I'm not like, you know. Obviously, you know, I think everyone listened to Eminem back in the day. Not so much anymore. I mean, I've been listening. I don't know. I listen to like a lot of classical music now. It's just I don't know why. It's just that seems to be the thing that I'm drawn to, and not all classical music either. Just like specific types. A lot of classical music I can't get into because I find that it's too like pretty sounding, or like sounds too decorated, or just a little bit too much stuff going on. I'm kind of more into more minimalist classical music, or anyway. Rhythm Happenings, thank you for that. Do you like doing animations more than music, or the other way around? I think I actually enjoy making music more than I do making animations, and that's just because I don't know. It's just that's always the thing I used to do before. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times when I make something animation-wise, and but I'm not really like, I don't really consider myself to be an animator first, you know. Like when I see other animators on YouTube, like some people out there, they put a lot of like movement and stuff and different variations of the body, and most of my animations are kind of stiff, and I just do that because yeah. I don't know, I find like I can build more atmosphere with the music rather than, like, that's what my strengths are, is the atmosphere of the music and the sound design rather than the actual animation. So sometimes I feel with animation that there's too much of it, and you can't, sometimes it feels like it doesn't add anything. Like, you know, if you have like someone walking down a hallway and you animate every single precise movement of their body, doing everything, doesn't necessarily add to the story or the plot or add anything to the overall finished, other than to be a cool piece of animation that action-wise is appealing to look at, you know. And I'm more interested in like the story and stuff, I guess. So I don't put as much weight into the actual animation. So that's just the way I work, you know. Okay, so let's see here. This flower. This pot is looking quite a lot bigger than the flower is, or she is. So let's see. I need to fix that. It's supposed to be more like this, I think. Big Roy, I love the enamel pins you made in your store. Do you have any ideas for more in the future? I'll probably be making some more in the future. Probably like some like safe mode pins or whatever. But no plans to do any right now. Just because I have like a whole lot of them in stock right now that I need to sell first. So I got like 600 of them. Because when you order them, it's like cheaper to make them when you buy like a lot at once. So, and that's why I put them on sale. They're like really cheap now. The only thing expensive about them is the shipping, which is unfortunate, but the actual enamel pins are like a couple dollars, I think, now. So. Vicar, you inspired me to make art more seriously, and I plan on doing an animation eventually, as you proved it's possible to do it yourself and revolutionize. Hey man, well thank you for that, and good luck with the animation project. You know, I understand that it's very difficult to do something like animation, especially if you have a day job. You know. When I started the channel, I had a day job basically. I was a freelance video editor. But because I was a freelance video editor, it was kind of like a constant struggle to find new clients. And so if I'm just sitting there looking for clients and not actually doing any work, I could have just animated or done something like try out a new YouTube channel. But if you do have a job and stuff, it can be difficult. You just have to you kind of just have to force yourself. It's like, you know, if you're spending time playing video games, like you got to say, well, I put, you know, I could play video games for an hour, or I could do like a trial, test out, just try something, you know, with an animation for an hour. And that's kind of the mindset I had to put myself into back then, 2017 or whatever it was, because I was wasting a lot of time too. Like I used to just browse the internet endlessly, like just waste time. You know, like those websites like Reddit and stuff, they just completely take all your like mental capacity, and it puts it into useless things for the most part. There's a lot of you know, the Reddit. I feel like websites like Reddit and social media like Twitter and stuff, they're basically programmed to make you constantly concerned about things that don't really affect your life in the grand scheme of things. And at the end of the day, if you remove some of those resource draining activities, you know, not saying video games are bad. I still play video games because it's like stress release for me. But if you just reduce the amount of it, you can do some pretty amazing things if you really put the time in, you know. Dylan O'Neill, I've recently lost a close friend. Your music has filled the void I've been feeling lately, and I just want to say thanks. I really loved Interface. We both did. Hey, Dylan O'Neill, I'm really sorry to hear that, and it's going to be tough, but I'm happy that I'm able to help out a little bit with my music and stuff, and it makes me pretty happy, actually, you know. I get that kind of comment a lot, actually, from some people who are going through some things, and I'm not really sure why my music kind of affects them that way, but I think that's the way with most music, you know. Even music that I'm not really a fan of, other people connect with it on different levels, and it just helps them go through things, you know. When I have stressful problems in my life, I listen to a lot of different music from other artists on Spotify, and it helps me get through things too. Mr. Zura, hey, I'm really happy you guys are really liking my new album. It was kind of like an experiment because I hadn't really used live instruments before, with the exception of Interface episode 24, the end credit music with the violin. Before that, pretty much everything was synthesized or made with a VST of some sort, but I just kind of, well, you know, thankfully because of the Patreon supporters and merch sales, I was able to afford to hire some session musicians. So I think it makes a big difference. It kind of like, as a musician, I feel like they add something that I can't add, which is their own experience and method of playing and instincts too, because, you know, really you give them sheet music and you give them like a render and you're like, well, this is kind of what I'm going for or whatever. Do you think you can do this? And I've been working with some extremely talented musicians, and if you ever go on air gigs or whatever, air gigs or whatever, you know, there's a lot of really talented instrumentalists, violinists, piano players, guitar players, and you can hire them for a couple $100, and they, you know, it's that may be a lot of money for some people, and it definitely used to be a lot of money for me, you know, like when I started the channel, and when, you know, I was making music and not making any money off of it, that's really a tough sell as well. But it's it's, you know, a couple $100. It's like then you have like a real recording from a real instrument. I feel like it's worth it, you know. And you put that music out on Spotify and it's going to be on there, or you put it out on Bandcamp or whatever. That music's going to last forever. So. What video games have you been playing lately? I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and Hunt Showdown. That Red Dead Redemption game, I'm like, it's kind of amazing. I mean, I've put off playing it for so long because I knew it would be like a massive time sink. I didn't want to get into something that would just like take hours of my life out. But it's like the winter time here, and we had the freaking COVID lockdown again in Montreal, and I'm just like, well, fuck it. You know, what am I supposed to do, right? The gyms is closed. The gyms are still closed. I think they open up on the 14th. But anyway. So I've been playing that, and I like that game because it's one of those games where you actually feel bad about just like killing random NPCs. So you kind of like question your own choices when you're doing certain things sometimes. The only thing I don't like about the game is that I feel like some of the missions are too linear. Like if they like if they tell you to like take out someone or do something and you don't do the most obvious route, like if you're like, okay, what if I go up in the mountains there and I go snipe the guy or whatever, it will like fail the mission. And I think where's that like Nakey Jakey guy was talking about that on his channel. The missions are too like they hold your hand too much, I guess. Like there's only one way to do it, so for a lot of them anyway. But otherwise, you know, the game's pretty fucking amazingly, really well done. Music's fantastic. The acting is really good too. That's another thing. The acting in a lot of video games, especially like Ubisoft games, I find to be really weak. But for Red Dead Redemption 2, there's I wouldn't say all the acting is great, but there's sometimes I'm watching it and I'm just like, damn, this is pretty much as good as watching a movie sometimes. There's one particular scene where spoilers if anyone hasn't played the game yet, but one part of the game where they go to, I forget which island it is. There's like an island off of Cuba, and Arthur's talking to Dutch, and he says, like, you keep killing people, Dutch, like you're changed, right? And that's the moment when I think Arthur kind of realizes that his leader, Dutch, is kind of losing it a bit, or his cause isn't as justifiable as what he may have thought it was. The acting in that particular scene was really well done. Banana Sloth Games. I've worn the Ghost Data hoodie basically every day for 2 years straight. I'm a mechanic and it's totally ruined with grease, but it's still one of my favorite hoodies. Hey, thanks Banana Sloth Games. I appreciate that. Bernie, would you ever collaborate with Joel Haver? I've been meaning to, man. I'm a huge fan of that guy, and I'm pretty sure he's a fan of me too, because we comment on each other's videos all the time. And we're eventually going to do a collab. I want to get him to do a voice. It's hard for me to collaborate with people because my animations come out so infrequently, and I don't feel like shoehorning someone into a role. If someone's like, I want to collaborate with you, I'll be like, I'll keep you in mind, but it might be a couple years or a couple of months. I know, but in his case, I do want to work with him. Sometime soon, I guess. The reason why I like his stuff so much is because you can tell he comes from you can tell that he puts a lot of thought into the cinematography and the shots, and it's not just a skit. You know, he really goes above and beyond to to make it feel a little bit more elevated than what you would expect for a YouTube video. That's just my opinion of his stuff. You can see it even in his older animations, and his not animations, but his older videos too. Hello from Moscow. Do you know Whitker Strybog and his works? You know what? I might actually recognize his work, but I mean, let me just look him up because. Okay, is he a musician? In which case, I'm not familiar with his stuff then. But let me know what it is about, and I'll. As a Nova Scotian, I'm glad to know that a giant robot baby died near where I live. Man, I don't think a lot of people from Nova Scotia has even seen Interface. And it must be kind of a mindfuck if for some of the random people that do like decide to watch it, and then at the end they're just like, whoa, hold on a second. He just drank Peggy's Cove? Like the lighthouse, he just drank it? Do you do the work that you do because of desire, or because of the joy in the work itself, or because of the sense that it's the right thing to do? Miranda. Let's see. I don't really have any of those thoughts really. I just draw things because I like to make things. Like before I animated, I used to do painting. I used to do a lot more paintings and drawings and stuff. I used to create stuff. So I guess there's like a desire. I don't know. I don't really know what else to do with myself. That's too. So I don't know if this animation is actually going to look good, because even though I've been doing this for a couple years, I'm still not like a great animator. So maybe I should do like a rough sketch first. That's probably the way you're supposed to do things. I know there's like some people out there on like Twitter talking the other day, and they're like, what do you do first? Do you storyboard things first, or do you design your characters first? And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself like, I just kind of like drew a funny looking dude until he looked funny enough that I decided to use him. Wasn't really any like more thought behind it than that. Okay, so I got this box thing here. Let's see, maybe the flower, like he like swings it up over its head. So the next shot will be kind of like, probably like a, yeah, and it will be like a smear, like an animation smear. Dylan O'Neill, I dig that Francis Bacon is one of your favorite artists. I love Francis Bacon. Do you know of Drew Langlois, the YouTube creator, or the Minute Hour? Oh yeah, man. Well, I definitely know the Minute Hour because we've collaborated a few times. Actually, more than once. I'd say about 3 times. He was the voice of the Ringmaster in Interface, episode 13, and he was. You know the video of the kid like snorting candy? That's the Minute Hour singing. And I'm thinking I'm gonna have him again on safe mode. I told him it would be episode 2, but it might be episode 3. I'm not really sure. I gotta figure out the story exactly. Have you tried Clip Studio? It's like Photoshop, but way better suited to your art style and animation. I did try Clip Studio, and I don't know, man. It's like sometimes the more tools you have, the more like restrictions you get. I really like to just restrict myself to the most basic elements, and I know Clip Studio Paint is probably way better than Photoshop. I did try using it and I just got frustrated. That's probably because I don't actually really know how to use it. But I don't know. All I really use Photoshop for is drawing frame by frame animations. I don't really want there to be any synthesized guides or anything, so for me it's just a matter of sitting and drawing. But yeah, I know Clip Studio Paint is probably a lot better. There's just some things about Photoshop that I prefer, like if I were to import a video, it's like extremely easy. I tried looking up how to do it in Clip Studio Paint and it was taking me a very long time. Have you played Disco Elysium? Disco Elysium. I'm willing to bet that's atmosphere right up your alley. I don't think I've played that game, sorry. There's a lot of stuff out there I need to check out. It's just, you know. Okay. Alright, here's my flower. He's about to flip. I'm not even sure if it's gonna look very good. It's just... So this part here will just be a giant smear. I don't know, man. Maybe he's like going the wrong way. Well, let's just continue and see what happens. Yolanda Temple, Anna Fabula. What is your opinion on Godzilla? You mean like the movie Godzilla? Dylan Temple, how do I get started on animation, man? I would suggest you just look up YouTube tutorials, because that's, I mean, I'm not really great at teaching, but there's a lot of, you can look up Photoshop animation like I'm doing, or Blender animation on YouTube. Blender is a free program, so you don't have to pay for Photoshop if you don't have it. There's a lot of people out there. I think Worthy Kids is a channel. He's got some tutorials on how to get started in Blender. and there's a few other animators. Actually, there's a lot of resources out there. So I would just type in like how to animate in Blender. Just go through the steps there and watch that. It's one of those things. Blender is a little too complicated for me. I do have experience with 3D software. I use Cinema 4D, but it becomes. I was talking to. I don't want to like name drop or anything, but I was talking to Meat Canyon the other day, and he was saying like 3D stuff becomes more like it's like more like math class than like actual animation. And I thought that was funny because that's kind of what I felt like. I mean, I do like, you know, I appreciate math, and obviously there is some of the math involved in After Effects too, but like I just want to draw funny stuff, and I don't want to get involved in the more technical aspects of it. That's not how I, as a creator, that's, you know, and there's other people out there that can do that, and that's perfectly excellent. I mean, how else would excellent 3D animations be made? But for me, my personal preference is just draw things. And even if they look crude, you know, it's like, that's kind of just the way I like things to look. It just looks crude. I used Hex System as meditation music during a DMT trip the other day. Hey man, that's pretty cool. That's like an important thing, you know. You really gotta have a playlist of music ready ahead of time. Nothing worse than like doing stuff like that and then like having to like flip through your phone to find like the right music, because like it's just recommending you something like fucking Taylor Swift or something. It's just not the right music for the mindset, you know. Do you like the band Animal Collective? They just released a new album. I will check it out, Badman. Thanks for the recommendation. Decoy Octopus. UMAMI, fellow Full Throttle fan here. First game ever bought. Yeah, man. Did you ever get stuck? There was this part in the game that I was stuck on, and it took me like months to get past. And this was like before I realized you can like look up. Well, I don't even know if we had the internet back then. I was like a kid, right? So there was a point in that game where there's like a wrench that's underneath a pillow, and you're supposed to be like you're riding your motorcycle and like hitting a bunch of bikers over the head with like 2x4s and stuff. But then there's like these catfish guys, and I remember I think there's like one type. I forget exactly what it was, but there was like one weapon that you had to use on the catfish guys, and you could only get it if you started with like the lead pipe that you would find underneath a pillow somewhere. And I think it took me a couple months to get past that, and I just couldn't figure it out. Okay, I need to copy this image just for a second. There. So now I can draw the kind of like in between of these two frames. Dylan to Temple. Yeah, man. Pilot Red Sun's great too. You know, I think that's his channel made me realize that the actual animations don't need to really be technically amazing in order for them to be hilarious or enjoyable. And I think that's what kind of flipped the switch in my head too, because a lot of times you think animation has to be, you see a lot of animators on YouTube and you're like, oh, this is amazing. I wouldn't be able to do anything like this. But then you see something like, for instance, his Quaker Oats animation that's like literally like maybe 2 images, and then there's like one part where he does like a whole bunch of animation in the base, but it wasn't like anything that would be unreasonably difficult for someone to try to emulate as a new animator. And but that animation made me laugh harder than anything I've ever seen in a long time when I did see it. And I was like, well, then why is it that it's so simple yet it's so funny? And then I realized that it's part of the simplicity is what makes it so funny. And adding more frames and doing things technically well doesn't necessarily translate to a better emotional response from watching something. And I think that's true with all music. It's true with painting. It's true with like drawing and stuff. And a lot of times artists struggle with not editing themselves. They develop all these skills and they overdo their artwork and they have all this. And I feel like I used to do that with my music. I used to put too much stuff in there and it was too muddy sounding, or there's too much stuff going on. And then, realistically, the stuff that's actually the most simple has oftentimes the most response or resonance with some people. And I feel like that's why Hans Zimmer is such a successful soundtrack composer, because a lot of his compositions aren't really that complicated. I find personally when I listen to a movie and the soundtrack is like going all over the place and it's got like trumpets and it's got like marimbas and glockenspiels and shit and like fucking too much stuff going on, it actually kind of starts feeling like too generic or like less focused. Animal Collective, I probably have heard of them, I'm not really good with names. Like there's a ton of music in my Spotify playlist that I wouldn't be able to tell you the names of the actual. Because I just, if I like a music track, I'll just put it to the Spotify playlist. Yeah, I've definitely seen the Big Les show. It's great. Okay, let's just. Oh, that's not so bad. But you know what? I feel like it would be better if it was reversed. But whatever. We'll just leave this for now. Cut this out and cut this. Carpet, gotta go Prep for exam. Hey, well, thanks for the comment, man. Good luck on the exam. Umami, have you ever heard of Jehu's Trip to the Future by Sam Hyde? Would be a massive undertaking, but if you teamed up to create an animated version of that tale, it would be legendary status. Jehu's Trip to the Future. I don't know what that is, man. I do know who you're talking about, Sam Hyde, and some of this stuff is fucking hilarious, honestly. But I don't know what that Trip to the Future is. You guys watched that like video that came out recently on iDubbbz channel? That whole thing was just friggin' weird, man. That's I mean, I don't really get into like YouTube drama and shit, but like it just felt weird. The whole thing was just weird. Okay. Alright, let's see. This extra frame here is just so that when the pot slams down, it kind of like like there's a moment where it just feels like it's more. There's like 2 frames there. I don't know if I should reverse it. Let's see if I can reverse it, because I feel like... Fortunately, there's no easy way to reverse things in Photoshop. I mean, there's this button, but it doesn't work on video layers. So I have to, like, break it up into frames. And there's this issue where that happens, but... Okay, so now... I think I can reverse it now. No. Let's see. I don't know what's going on right now. Let me just see here. Did I actually reverse it? Yeah. Let's go back and do that again. It doesn't really work if it goes backwards. Is it? That's fine. Alright, I have to draw some more details in there now. You know, Joseph Geyser, I thought it was just funny that he he went to the trouble to like rent out a dentist office, and then iDubbbz was like surprised when he learned that the whole thing was like a ruse. Like the dentist office, like there's paintings on the wall that look like. Anyway, I don't know how he fell for it, especially with a security guard. I mean, he must have known they were fucking with him, but okay, let's get more flower petals in here. It's very hard to animate and live stream at the same time. I always have the same issue. Are the curfews in Montreal as bad as it, or have things changed for the better? Well, we don't have a curfew anymore, but just a couple, I'd say about a month ago, it was illegal to leave your house after 10 p.m. You couldn't even just stand in a park by yourself. The police, you would get a fine. And this is all in the name of protecting people. So, you know, some of the shit that's happening right now, and, you know, it's like the government's doing everything they can to shut down conversation, when at the end of the day, it's really just about a disease, COVID, which at this point, the Omicron variant isn't very as dangerous as the initial strains were. And they're like, people are complaining that like these protests, the convoys, whatever, are like shutting down businesses, and it's but they seem to forget that for the past 2 years we couldn't, like, restaurants were just closed. I don't really understand where people are coming from with this whole thing, so. Honestly, there's just a lot of so much misinformation, and you know how the news is always talking about how there's misinformation on the internet. You know, the first day of these convoy protests, there was a couple people that showed up with Confederate flags and I think maybe like a Nazi flag or something. Completely idiotic. But they never questioned the fact that this dude showed up completely covered with his face. We don't even know who he is. And they just say, oh, this is the face of the trucker convoy. Never mind the thousands of other people who didn't do that. And they just basically, you know, they do what they sling mud. And then they make Canadians hate other Canadians. And I really do believe that the media is the enemy of everyone right now. And it's just really unfortunate that there's so many people out there that are brainwashed into thinking that the media, CBC, CTV News, have their best interests at heart. And another thing they try to pin on them too, is protests were violent. And I've been watching these live streams on YouTube. Anyone can sit down and watch them. There's like no violence at all. And the only people calling for violence are the people who want to shut down the protesters. So in Montreal a couple of years ago, we had statues here that were covered in paint. And I think eventually they tore one of the heads off of the statues. And then, so we have like, there's like a Terry Fox statue in Ottawa, right? And they put a couple of flags on him. They gave him a cape of the Canadian flag, and they gave him a hat. And the news was like, look at this vandalism. I just don't even know where to begin with this shit. But honestly, I don't want to get into it. You know, my channel is not really intended to be political. So I feel like there's enough of that shit already out there on YouTube. And I just want people to kind of just like go to my channel for, you know, because they just want to see some funny animations and shit. Maybe listen to some nice music. That's about it. Take their mind off some of these more meaningless things, which at the end of the day, you know, we're just a bunch of people on a planet somewhere. Everything that's happening right now in the news is just going to be a distant, faded memory that probably hasn't happened. You know, it's like, think of all the protests and all the shit that happened over the thousands and thousands of years of our existence. It's honestly like a big distraction. Like, there's like a potential war with Ukraine right now. And I don't know, we're just more focused on like dividing our own citizens with this shit. Okay, so now the flower is going to be more like this. I don't know, this flower has kind of got like acrobatic moves or something. It's kind of like a ninja flower, so. But he sleeps a lot. I think it's a she too. I don't know if flowers have yeah, they do have genders. The she flower. You'll kind of figure out more of the origins of the flower character in the next episode. Hey, Olivia, thanks for the comment there. No worries, OTT, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I kind of go on ranty tangents sometimes. I try to limit that to my live stream, so it's my own fault. Have you guys ever seen, you guys ever watch Ozark? You guys watch the latest season that came out? Mammy, random questions. Have you ever watched 12 Angry Men? I saw it recently and thought it was riveting, enjoyable. I think I might have saw it, but it was like probably 10 years ago, so I can't really comment on it. I don't remember anything about it. Ozark, you know, I like Ozark. I feel like it's a pretty good show. There's just, I feel like there's a few issues I have with it. I was watching. Okay, if so, I haven't seen it, whatever, and you don't want spoilers, then I guess plug your ears. But one of the main problems I have with the show is every time they kill a character, they introduce a new character almost immediately. And then there's a lot of characters where I'm just like watching the show. I'm like, what is the purpose of this character, and what is the scene, and like even at the finale, there's like this crazy heightened tension, right? And then they would like have this scene that just doesn't make any sense, and it just takes away, it just kills the momentum for me. Like there's a scene where Ruth goes and buys seeds from this like woman, and I'm just like, this is like the second last episode, and you're introducing a new character that sells seeds, and you're spending a good like 6 minutes on it, and it just felt really bizarrely out of place. There's a few things about this show. I guess I don't know. Interface DVD when? You know, I've been trying to make them. It's just the DVD authoring software has, like, the one I used to use, Encore, is no longer supported. And every software that I'm trying to use now is complete garbage. Like, I found one recently, and I tried using it, and then I realized it doesn't support subtitles. I'm like, what the hell? So the Blu-rays, I'm really, DVDs, Blu-rays, I'm trying to get those things made, but it's just been a very frustrating experience to get things put onto physical media for some reason. Everything's moved to streaming, and now there's like no software that really is supported. I'm gonna keep trying though, it might just take a while. The VHS tapes of Interface are coming very soon though, They actually did arrive already, but there was a problem with them, so I had to send them back. They were going to be fixed. Just like the blue vinyls that showed up, and there was a problem with those. I'm just like, man, being an artist sometimes and finding your own merch is kind of a stressful process, I can tell you that. Especially if you wait so long and things show up and they're just like not right. Okay. Solo A. Well, I'm drawing. Obviously, I was supposed to be shipping out the vinyls this weekend, and I was saying they didn't arrive with the posters, so I have to get the posters before I ship them out, and hopefully it should be a couple days. PJ XMJ. Yeah, there's some characters that are really good, though. I really like the Darlene character, and I feel like Ruth is an amazing character, and I don't know, I forget what the main guy's name is, the guy that's like, the show that's like about him, really. It's his story, but he's, the dad, I just can't remember his name for some reason. But it seemed like the show started as him being the protagonist, and then slowly he got pushed to the side. And now he's just kind of like this pushover side character, and his wife took over. I don't really understand why they did that. I feel like they need to make him stand up for his own safety at some point in the future, rather than just, trying to appease everybody. Hannibal, eh? That's like the remake of I haven't seen it though. What's the point of getting new content on older media beyond the cool factor, if any, VHS, vinyl, etc.? Well, VHS probably doesn't have it's just a cool factor, really. I mean, some people, I don't know how many people actually have CRT monitors anymore, but, or VCRs, really. Working VCRs, that's another thing. But with vinyls, this is the first year there was more vinyl sales than CDs, and I think the purpose of buying vinyl is yes, you can listen to the music streaming, but people still want to have physical collections of things in their house, and as everything becomes more digital, the more things become digital, the less physical ownership there is. And that's probably a good thing for a lot of things, like emailing people, or I don't know, doing your banking. But if you're like, hey, where's your music collection? Oh, it's on Spotify in my playlists. You can't physically give it to a friend and be like, hey, you can borrow this for a couple weeks. Or, hey, you want to listen to some music? Just go through my record collection and put something on the record player, You could say, oh, you can go through my phone and find the music that I saved to a playlist. It just doesn't have the same, if you're looking to connect with other people, I feel like physical media is always fun, because rather than being like, hey, there's this web series on YouTube, you can check it out, it's got ads, you just give them a DVD and be like, hey, check this out, you can borrow this for a couple weeks, right? I don't know. Also, with physical merch, like, you get like a nice, just cool to look at. It's like you get a nice artwork on the front and the back, and it's a nice gift, You can give it to someone. It's a gift. It's like, hey, here's a record. If you have a friend that has a record player, rather than, oh, I bought you some here's an Apple Music gift card. Like it's not the same thing, you know. So I kind of get why it's coming back, you know. But I'm probably going to limit it to vinyls, well, VHS tapes for my animations. Some people have been asking for cassettes of the soundtrack, and I could do that as well. But maybe like a limited run. There's so many things for me to do, and it's like literally just me. And well, Carolina helps me out a lot too, but I don't have like a team of people working on this shit. It's just it's like if I have to work on something, it's just me working on the design of the VHS box cover, you know. Or, you know, it's a lot of things I could be doing. You know, I don't know, man. It's like with Spotify and stuff too. Like they're just like removing shit now, like constantly. Like, say what you will about Joe Rogan, but they've removed 100 of his podcasts recently, and this is like after they already removed a whole bunch of them. And so that's like stuff people enjoyed watching that just you can't watch anymore. And so I'm not saying that's going to happen to my animations, but you never know. Like they're trying to pass this law in Canada where YouTubers are supposed to act like broadcasters. And of course, no one's talking about this because they're all distracted with stupid ass shit like the protest. And then we have the liberal government here trying to protest, trying to enact actual censorship laws on YouTube for people like me. There's this thing in Canada where radio, CRTC or whatever it's called, mandates that a certain percentage of radio music has to be by Canadian artists. Whether or not that's good or bad music doesn't matter. 20% I think it is, or I forget how much, it has to be Canadians. So that's why a lot of Canadians grew up listening to like the Tragically Hip and stuff. And because they constantly played it, and it wasn't necessarily because they wanted to listen to the Tragically Hip. It's because the government forced them to, basically through law. And I think they're trying to pass the same sort of thing in Canada for YouTube. I don't know. It's just, you know, in my opinion, it's Bell Media that makes horrible television shows, boring fucking, you know, they basically drain tax dollars into their production budgets on these really trashy shows that no one cares for. And then they're going to basically force people to watch them by basically making companies like Netflix or YouTube mandate that a certain percentage of their content is by Canadian producers for Canadians. Doesn't necessarily mean that people like me will get a bit more airtime. It means more people like Bell Media will, and people don't see through that either. You know. They're more like hating on people and calling everyone else racist, and rather than focusing on these laws that are being passed that are actually going to be affecting our lives in the future. So that's another thing that we're dealing with up here. But I think it's called Bill C-10. If you want, you can look it up.
Are you being very serious right now?
Oh, don't show me this. What is that?
It's the drawing that you made.
Bro, that's embarrassing. I don't want to see that. Get that out of here.
What? It's hilarious. What you doing in my portfolio?
I don't know. I probably shoved it in there because it's funny.
This is signed 02.
02?
Yeah, what were you, like 12?
Yes, I was probably 12 when I made that. Now you've piqued their interest, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's why I did it on purpose.
A lot of Creed on Canadian radio. You know, that's the thing. People hate on Creed, but I actually don't think they're that bad. There's a few songs that are okay. they do kind of tend to sound similar. A lot of their music kind of sounds similar. But Max Richter does that, and no one seems to care. Dylan O'Neill, yeah, man. I've there's some good Canadian shows out there. I don't know if you ever watched Mr. D. The guy, I think, yeah, I forget what his name. He like hosts the Canadian version of Family Feud now. He's a pretty funny dude, and I think he's what made that show watchable. He comes from a comedy perspective. He's got a background, I think, in that sort of thing. But I feel like, you know, early Trailer Park Boys is pretty good. It's amazing too. But some of the stuff that they make now, like, I'm just like, Digstown, whatever. All the stuff that's on CBC Gem. I can't help but think that, like, this is just these producers just have connections with the the Canadian government's funding arms, right? And they just it doesn't matter if these shows are good or not. They're going to be put on CBC Gem, and they're going to get their producer fee. Solo A, yeah, man, that's just what it is. It's like you got a selection of music out there, okay? I don't even know how they're going to enforce this anymore, because, like, if you're looking for the actual music you want to listen to, you should be able to find it. And so how is it that they're going to force you to listen to a certain band or whatever? They're not going to inject it into your feed, are they? They might, actually. That's what the whole law is people are discussing. They don't even know what these things could happen. But like for the YouTube algorithm, for instance, you know, the next up, it could be that like 20% of it has to be content from a certain Canadian company for Canadians, not the worldwide. There's no discussion on these laws, but if they basically turn YouTube into into a company that has to be regulated like by the CRTC, then these sort of things could be starting to happen. Same thing with Spotify. It's like if you click on the radio button and the algorithmic playlist is generated for you, it might just be like 20% of it is like Canadian music, even though it has nothing to do with the music you actually want to listen to, you know? And my opinion is this, you know, if you're a Canadian artist and you're struggling to find a fan base, then just make better music, you know? You shouldn't, I don't feel like the government should force or should coerce you into consuming a certain type of content just because it's based in Canada. Especially now that the world has become so globalized. It's almost like we get all the negative aspects of globalization, but then they want to change it so now even the positive parts, which are you can listen to music from all over the world and stuff, or whatever kind of show you or art you want to consume, it could be from a different country. Oh no, you can't have that either. The government's going to tell you what you can consume and watch and listen to. You guys have your own version of the BBC. Yeah, we have this thing called CBC, which is, I guess it's comparable to I don't know if it's comparable to PBS or NPR in the United States, but it's a crown corporation. It's like basically funded by taxpayers. You know, the BBC actually does make some good quality shows, though. Like, all the nature programming docs are amazing. Okay, there we go. I like this flower. He's hopping. So you can't really see him hop right now, but he will be jumping to different... I think he'll be jumping on the pavement, whatever it is. Let's see here. I might have to like... Well, I'll do that in After Effects. I don't like doing the position in Photoshop. It just ends up getting screwed up. So the flower is it's got like the leaves are black basically. So there's you know, like there's musicians in Montreal and stuff, and they're doing great on the international scale. You know, like, it's because they make good music. You know. There's this like band called Men I Trust right now. It's kind of I don't know, it's kind of like down tempo, sort of like, I don't know really know what genre you would actually even call it. It's kind of like psychedelic, jazzy. Have you ever heard of Montreal? Yeah, I've heard of them too, yeah. I don't know if they're still in Montreal. There's a lot of bands in Montreal that kind of a music city, which a lot of it was kind of, you know, COVID kind of shut a lot of it down. But I've been doing drum practice for the past couple years, and it's, you know, apparently the entertainment services here in Montreal were an essential service, which means they didn't want to lose out on that Hollywood money coming from the United States. So they made exceptions to the COVID laws for when it was convenient for them. But one of the benefits there was that the drum studio that I use was open throughout the entire pandemic because technically they have a recording studio in the back, and so they qualify as a entertainment services. Do you use the same color palette for everything you do, Oyster Snack? Yes, pretty much. I use all of these colors, and very rarely do I add a new color. And the reason why is that I have some sort of compulsive OCD problems, I guess. Or I don't really know what it is, but I made basically some rules for myself when I started animating. I want things to look cohesively the same, consistently. But I've started to figure out ways to like combine colors and stuff. So, I mean, for instance, if these white lines here in the background kind of make the yellow a lighter shade of yellow while still using the same colors. Or if I were to make well, there's brushes and stuff you can use in After Effects, sorry, in Photoshop. But like, say for instance, I got blue here, right? And I can just add some, well, it doesn't quite work in Photoshop, but let's say if I just offset them like this, right? It kind of makes like a greenish color. So I got like this kind of like greenish kind of color I could use. But I'm still technically using these still the same colors. I haven't blended anything together, you know? So that's kind of cool. And it works even better when it's scaled down a bit. It's basically just how like halftone works. Halftone, you know? Billy Bob, since you live in Montreal, do you speak some French? I can speak like basic French, yeah, for sure. I mean, I do it all the time because I got some health problems, so I have to go to the hospital every couple months. And basically, the nurses up there, they only speak French, so I have to speak French to them. And when I came to Montreal, I was working for 2 years, and then I got laid off. And then in that time I was laid off, I decided to take French classes. And the government here actually subsidizes the schools for French classes, so it wasn't very expensive. It just took a lot of my time. They are full-time classes, so all day, 5 days a week, basically like going back to school to learn French. So I learned enough that I can get by in most cases, and I can understand most things. I should probably watch more French television though, just so I can learn it, like the language a little bit better. I have an easier time understanding French people from France though than actual Quebecois, because a lot of the accents here are kind of difficult to decipher, and but otherwise. Decoy octopus, that's cool, man. Well, thank you for that. Okay, Okay, let's see here. A flower. It's taking me forever to animate a flower. Kamiko plays. I know you love to create your own soundtracks, but is there anyone out there whose musical style you appreciate that you'd like to shout out? So if you're looking for some more like electronic-y sounding music, check out Pilot Red Sky, which is Pilot Red Sun's music channel on YouTube. He puts all his music out there, and he puts a lot of stuff out recently. He hasn't been active on his animation channel, but his music channel has been fairly active. Let's see. There's this band called Monomorte, Monomorte, and they have some pretty cool tracks that I like listening to. Who else? Oh, yeah. So there's another musician. Called Public Memory. You should look him up on Spotify, whatever, Bandcamp. Public Memory. I have one of his records, and I like his music. Pretty cool. It's like electronic, sort of like electronic, like punkish rock kind of fusion. I don't really know what you would call it. I really suck with like music labels, like the names of genres and stuff. Just if I like it, I like it, you know. What else? Yeah, I'd say that's it for now. Rachel McCreary, have you ever thought about making UMAMI-style Minecraft resource packs for fun? I'm using a MS Painted one right now. Just think about how cool that would be. I never actually ever played Minecraft or got into it, but like, and so I haven't actually thought about it, but yeah, I mean it'd be cool. I've been I thought about doing like video games sort of stuff with my artwork, but I'm not really like a programmer, and maybe in the future, you know, as right now it's a little bit too much for just me to do. Bruner, so safe mode is like it's not I guess it's like after interface, so there's like this kind of synthetic world that exists within the baby's brain, which is a simulation of and so safe mode takes place within that, and the baby blimp, I'm saying, and it's a continuation of interface, but it's not the same story. So you might see some characters that reappear, or there's some crossover elements, but you're not going to be like hearing about Henrik, for instance, really, or it's like a new it's a new story, and it just takes place within a different universe, but it's a universe within a universe, so it's still all within the same context, if that makes any sense. Okay. Let's see. Flower. It's orange. Hello, Justin. I was wondering, how do you make Mischief's voice? Is it natural or using some program? So Mischief's voice is pretty straightforward. All I do is I pitch shift it. I pitch shift it about my voice. I have I speak a certain way, and then I pitch shift it down. I think half an octave. I can't remember how much it is using software. And then I put some filters on it, like compression, so that the low, quieter parts of my voice are raised higher, and that makes his voice sound stronger, kind of like a radio voice. And put some EQ in there to make sure it's not too muddy and stuff, because if you pitch shift things down, all the frequencies become lower, and there's some frequencies, I'd say about around 100 hertz or 120 hertz or 90 hertz. Anything below that usually doesn't, for dialogue, doesn't really become helpful. I feel like maybe around 90 hertz. If you start clipping off too much, the voice sounds very thin. You don't want that either. It depends on the recording you make. But so those are three things basically: pitch shifting, compression, and EQ. That's pretty much it. And the rest of it's just my own voice acting. Will we still get videos with Mischief even after interface is over? Yes, you will, definitely. I've been kind of, I feel like with Mischief, he's been the face of the channel for so long, he needs a break a little bit, and he will come back in time in the future. I gotta find the right moment, and so when he does come back, people will be like very happy to see him, you know? Oof! Jesus, I got the it's like a sound just went in my headphones. Hey, it looks like someone pledged. Thank you, Kyle, for watching. You look like a real artist, a bit insane. Yeah, well, yeah. That's probably because I got this like 2 months worth of beard, and I haven't gotten a haircut in like a very long time either. Okay, there we go. There's my flower. There's jumping up and down. And so now I have to go in here, color in the leaves. But I had to do it like this, so it kind of looks like it has some texture to it, and directional texture too. It makes it look a little bit nicer. If I don't go right to the edge, you see right here, I leave a little bit of white. It kind of allows for some of the shape of the petal to remain. Makes kind of a nice like ring outline. You don't always have to do that, just sometimes. Like right here, I'll just have a little bit. Thanks, Bruno. I really need to start going back to the gym though. I can't really. I don't have any weights in my apartment, and they're gonna open up on the 14th. So I got this like pain in my leg that seems to go away when I do like exercises, and I also find that if I don't exercise in a long time, I get really like stressed out and stuff. I don't know about you guys, but like when I exercise, I just feel like relaxed, and like the little things aren't really a big deal. But if I haven't exercised in a long time, I get like really squirrely. And I think that's what's been going on with me recently. Okay, that's one flower. Right, done. I gotta do another one. Ooh. Hey, Face Guy, thank you for the pledge there if you're in here with us. Cora, I appreciate that. Thank you for the comment. How did you learn all this? I'm usually too overwhelmed to try any of this professional stuff. Well, I didn't just you know, I've been doing music for about 12 years now. My first album I released in 2009. So even like after all that time, I'm only now starting to feel a little bit more confident about my abilities as a musician. So that's you know, that's a lot of time to make music. You know, animation. I've only really been drawing hand-drawn animation like this for about 4 years. So if you look at my first animation, the Ronald McDonald one, you can see how crude it is. Before that, I had some video editing skills, so I wasn't starting from zero, but I was starting from animation-wise. I was starting from zero. But like back in 2012, for instance, I went to film school, so I learned what makes a good story or how to write scripts. So all this channel kind of just accumulated with all the experience I've gained over the years. And so it's not like it's not easy. It takes time and practice and dedication. And if you're willing to really do one thing that you want to do, it's going to take a lot of time and work to make it happen. It's just how it is, you know. But I feel like a lot of people can do things, and if they set their mind to it, and they are dedicated to whatever it is they're making. And it doesn't have to be artwork like this, you know. It can be anything. It can be 3D printing or welding or electrical stuff, you know. I can't do any of those things, you know. There's people out there that can do that stuff. I don't know. It's the first thing about electrical. There was a time when I was going to film school where that might have been the career choice for me. I got more into cinematography and setting up big film lights and stuff, you know, the HMIs and Kino flows and stuff. 6Ks require a little bit of knowledge. Well, I wouldn't say enough knowledge of electricity and stuff so that you don't kill yourself, because when you're running on a film set with those big lights, they use an extreme amount of electricity. I don't know if you ever stood in front of like one of those film lights like they have. I don't know, it's like HMIs. I forget what they are now, like 12Ks or whatever, 16Ks. It's basically, you feel like you're standing in front of the sun, like direct sunlight on a hot sunny day. That's how bright they are. And yeah, I like Barry. He's my favorite. I gotta bring back Barry too. There's a lot of like smaller characters I gotta bring them back. You know, I just haven't really So yeah, flushed it out too much. During the pandemic, I started doing this upper body routine that's using all your own body for resistance, lots of push-ups and stuff. You don't need a gym for your body, for your mind. Hey, Robert, that's really, you're 100% correct in that. I was doing some body weight exercises. I'm just lazy, dude. I'm not very good at like researching this stuff. But hopefully soon I can get back into it. But you're 100% right about that. There's a lot of body weight exercises you can do, planking and stuff, and your chest, and not just push-ups, but anyway. Ever thought of making a short animated series without any real plot to it, just like some random thought? Like I don't know, it's like a random, like a series of just random shit happening. I mean, I feel like with safe mode, it's gonna kind of feel like that a little bit more than interface. Interface was very plot heavy, and like safe mode is gonna be more laid back. But I don't really want to just make random shit happening and with like no meaning behind it, because I feel like there's, I don't know, sometimes I watch stuff like that on YouTube and I just feel like there's this, it's just, why am I watching this, you know? There's nothing bigger to say behind, I don't know. I just like having my stories have a little bit of a, even if there's just a little bit of something there, you know, that can carry through it. It's gonna make it a better series. Would you ever be down to making a 30-second reel animation, like doing it on paper and recording and flipping it? I used to kind of do that back when I was a lot younger. I used to do like cutout paper animation. And I don't do like actual hand-drawn, because you need like a light table, and it's you gotta scan every frame on a scanner, and line them up in Photoshop. It's just a lot of pain in the ass kind of work. So I don't really, it's not really something I'm interested in doing. Hey, Rasham Kumar, watching this from Anchorage. Hey, thanks for the comment. Anchorage, Alaska, eh? For me, Parker Gills, for me the most important parts are the transitional scenes. They always, like a vivid dream carrying, yeah. Yeah, man, that's one thing I feel like a lot of stuff lacks. You know, there's a lot of shows that don't have enough breathing space, and that we just need to appreciate the environment and the atmosphere where the characters exist, and it helps you like get into the mode of watching something rather than just jumping into dialogue right away. You know, that's one of my criticism actually for Ozark. I feel like every scene that they make is just dialogue heavy, dialogue scene after scene, playing 4D chess against one another, and there's no scenes where you just have it's just atmospheric. It's for the purpose of building character, but it's quiet, you know, there's actions happening, but that's what makes shows like Better Call Saul so good, is that they actually have these kind of scenes in them where it's just a transitionary kind of scene where there's still action happening, but you're treating the medium as cinema, which is what it should be, and not necessarily like some sort of tightly woven book, that's not a good way to say it. Like a math equation is better. Is what I mean to be saying. If you treat your plot like a math equation, where every scene has to precede the other with the next interlocking like equation so that it carries the plot forward, it's just gonna feel unnatural, because there's a lot of aspects to daily life that are just mundane, or just walking down the street or whatever, and a lot of shows, television programs in particular, they miss this. This is why I am a huge fan of Michael Mann as a director, because in my opinion, he's excellent at making atmosphere. And Ridley Scott is also great at doing the same thing. And the Coen brothers are also as well, are really good at atmosphere. And what's the new guys, the new brothers, I forget their name, but they made Good Time, and they made Uncut Gems. Safdie brothers, I think. They're excellent at making atmosphere. I'd say it's almost equally as important as the dialogue, but oftentimes with they just don't. That's just not something a lot of television producers care for. I kind of get it, because on my stats on YouTube, there's definitely people that appreciate the slower, kind of more drawn out paced atmospheric scenes. However, I notice that the scenes that have just like dialogue in them or whatever, actually the audience retention is higher. So there is some reasoning behind why that it is the way that it is. And in my opinion, it's just because something has a higher audience retention doesn't necessarily mean it's actually better. But saying something is better is also subjective. Better in my watch or whatever, or listen to. Have you watched Miami Vice? So are you talking about the movie that was made in 2006 or the television show? I never saw the actual television show. However, the movie, I wouldn't say it's my favorite Michael Mann film, but it's a good Michael Mann film, and it's completely underrated. There's scenes in it that are kind of slow. Some scenes I feel like could have been tightened up. It's not as good as Collateral, for instance, but I saw it in person in theaters, and I enjoyed it. And I actually watched it again recently, like not even that long ago, a couple weeks ago. He was like one of the I think it was one of the first movies to be shot on a digital camera, like a Sony HDV something or other. And you can see a lot of film grain, or it's not even film grain, it's digital noise. But it looks fucking cool. Like, I don't know, like he worked with his cinematographer and was like, you know what, this noise that's in the image, it's actually not a bad thing. And it's a part of the product of the film that we're making. And at his level, being a big time Hollywood director that made stuff like Heat and stuff, to take a risk on something like that, to just shoot a movie on a digital camera, I feel like it has a lot of intentional aesthetic choices that really make it stand out from a lot of action movies, action kind of drama movies, whatever the category you would call that. There's some parts of that movie where I'm like, it just feels a little bit kind of, sometimes it's just like these guys look way too cool for whatever it is that they're doing. The realism of the acting and the actors is taken away from the fact that they look like kind of like a caricature of like a cool dude sometimes. But in the grand scheme of things, I think it's a good movie. So. Is Raised by Wolves any good? I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I saw the trailer, and I got put off by the trailer. People were sending me the trailer because they're like, the lady looks like Kami from the interface, and I watched it. And then they did that thing where they played a lullaby, like they had like a solo lullaby singing, and I was just like, like it's supposed to be creepy or something. I just thought it was cheesy, and I couldn't watch it. Are you doing something to keep your hands from hurting after all that drawing and stuff? I do hand exercise, I still have problems. I think I just have old lady hands. Rachel, well, I have like, I used to have like cramps, you know? I don't know though, it like went away, I guess. Like arthritis or whatever. It depends maybe on your pen and how you're working. Like, do you have a Wacom pen? Is it like really thick? Because there's some of them that are really thick, like this one. Well, this is not a Wac. This is Sharpie. I'm just showing you what it kind of. But this one that I have is like a thin version that I bought separately, and I find that it's I don't know if I can see that. So my camera's all like interlaced and stuff, so it's hard to see. But once I switched over to using the thinner pencil, it felt a lot more natural, and my hand doesn't cramp up anymore. Maybe it's just from drawing so long. I don't know. I got more problems with my left leg than I have my hand. Oh yeah, Parasite was an excellent movie too. I thought, what was his name? Wong Kar Wai or something? Or I don't know. Miki Pike Hatfield. Kids are the scariest thing after all, and don't forget the music box. Yeah. I think that's, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, hey, like I'm gonna make a horror film. So what is the first thing I think of when I think of the soundtrack? How about a music box? And how about a kid with long hair? And how about someone singing the lullabies, like kind of like ironically? I feel like that's really gonna make people spooked. I haven't watched the new Matrix movie. The theaters were shut down, so I couldn't watch it if I wanted to. And then on Amazon Video, you can like watch it in advance. But I was looking at the price, and it was like $26 Canadian. I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna pay that much money to watch it on my own television. Like, and from all the reviews I heard, it's like a horrible movie. So I'm probably just not gonna watch it. Parasite didn't deserve the Oscar for Best Director, in my opinion. I love the director in the movie, though. It depends on... I wonder, it depends on what other movies were nominated. I can't remember. I don't watch the Oscars, so I don't know, but... I feel like if the other movies didn't hold up, then it might have deserved it, but I feel like it was an excellent movie. I remember watching it for the first time, and I was like... At first, the first like 10 minutes, I was like, I don't know about this movie, and then like, after like 25 minutes, I was like gripped into it, like I could, and then it just keeps getting better and better, and then there's this one scene like around the middle of the film where you're just like, what? Like, you can't believe what just happened, and then it's definitely one of my favorite movies, and I've only watched it once. Probably watch it again. The thing that threw me about The Matrix 4 was when I realized that Keanu Reeves didn't cut his hair for the movie. And to me, it just felt like they didn't, I like Keanu Reeves, but like, you make the John Wick series and that's your look with the long hair, and then you're going to make The Matrix 4, which your character is known for very short hair, and then all of a sudden he's got long hair. I don't know. It just felt like he didn't commit to the character or something, Like it just felt odd. Like it was more like just to like make a quick buck or something than make a legit fourth movie. And the other Wachowski sister, I guess, she was not involved. There's only one of them involved, so one of the Wachowskis was not involved. So I heard about that. I was like, okay, that's not right. That ain't right. Let me tell you that. It ain't right. Even though I really do appreciate the Wachowskis for some of the choices that they make with their films. They made some really good other movies too. What was that movie? It had like Tom Hanks in it. Dream. It was. I can't remember the name. Maybe someone in the comments knows what I'm talking about. Okay, there's my pot. He's jumping. I like it. I think this is cool. He's just because that's how he walks, right? It's a flower, so how else does a flower walk? He swings his butt up and around, slams on the sidewalk. So let's see. Scripts. There was Sam Mendes with 1917 who deserved the Oscar. It's all my opinion, obviously. Okay. I saw 1917 as well, and that was a great movie. But there was something about it that I didn't like, and I just can't remember what it was. That was like a one-shot film, wasn't it? That must have been incredible to like plan out and everything, It's been too long for me to be able to say anything because I don't really remember most of the plot points in that film. But that was a good movie, yeah, for sure. All right, now I'm gonna draw like some. Come on. Cloud Atlas. Yeah, that's the movie. Cloud Atlas. Cloud Atlas was it had some issues as well, but I felt like it was a pretty ambitious film that was pretty interesting too. I watched another movie that they made, and it was horrible. So they definitely like hit and miss a lot of times. Let's just look them up. Let's see. Jupiter Ascending is what it was called. And V for Vendetta was a good film, but if you watch it now, I can't help but cringe a little bit. And it's probably because people have adopted the mask and stuff, but like, I don't know. Like, I remember watching it when it first came out, and I was like, yeah, it's not bad. But then I watch it now, and I'm just like, this guy is just too edgy, man. He's just too edgy. And I felt the same way about Constantine, which is a movie that Keanu Reeves stars in. Where when I saw it in theaters, like 12, 15 years ago, whatever it was, I was like, pretty good movie. But then I watched it recently, or tried to, and then I was like, Jesus, man, this is like too edgy. Like the cinematography was edgy. Like I couldn't get into it. I guess my taste just changed over the years, you know? I'm sure that's true for everyone. I don't know if it's gonna look good or right, or it's just I just roughed it in real quick. it's definitely wonky. Let's see this perspective of like the tiles. They like change. I mean, I could do this in After Effects and make it perfect, but I don't. I kind of like how wonky it is. It just needs another line over here. Man, I don't know, man. I disagree. I don't think The Matrix is the only good movie they made. I think Cloud Atlas is ambitious and worth watching. And there, I don't know. There's like scenes that they made in Fence 8 that are good, but the whole series is not. I just sometimes I don't know, man. I don't know what happened to them. Have you seen Naked Lunch? Jaromir? No, man, I haven't. What's that one about? Oh, yeah, The Watchmen is... I like The Watchmen, you know. I'm not really a big fan of superhero movies, but Watchmen is one of my favorites. Definitely could watch Watchmen multiple times. I think this animation almost runs better backwards. I might be able to play with that in After Effects. It's easier to change the direction of the animation in After Effects. Maybe cracks in the pavement after it slams the pot. Yeah, I might be able to do that. Yeah, the thing is, I don't really when I see movie adaptations of books, I don't like try to compare the two because I feel like they're incomparable. Like if I wrote a book about interface, there'd be so much detail that I could add that I couldn't have put in the actual series, you know? I haven't seen a lot of David Cronenberg's movies, but I did see Crash. He made Crash. Not the more recent Crash, the original Crash by David Cronenberg. And I don't know, I saw this other movie he made that takes place in a limousine with the guy from Good Time, the actor there. I was so bored out of my mind. So I don't know. I couldn't get through Sense8. I watched the first 4 episodes, I think. There's a lot of movies out there where there's like one scene that's friggin' excellent, and then the rest of the movie doesn't really hold up. Or there's like 2 or 3 scenes that are just great, but then you can't seem to get through it, and I guess that's the reality of it. Okay, everyone. I think you know what? I don't want to cut this early, but I think I'm finishing up now because I don't know. I can't seem to stream for more than a couple hours, so I got to work on this flower pot shot, and I got to go make some coffee and stuff, and try to do some exercise or something. I don't know if I might just fix the sidewalk here later. I don't like how, I don't know, I just kind of threw it together. I'm happy with the flower pot though. So, I'm really hoping to get this animation out before the end of the month because I might be going away for a bit, so I don't want to have to delay it until after I get back, but it's the 12th of February. If I have... Oh, where the hell's the calendar? Well, whatever. I have roughly about 15 days, so if I work on it every day, it should be finished. Okay, everyone. Thanks again for hanging out. I really appreciate talking with everyone, and have a good weekend. Goodbye.
You're watching UMAMI.